Well, let's get into what's happening right now. And I think that we really can't start the interview off without talking about what is now 9 people dead at Travis Scott's Astroworld Festival.
Crazy.
I'm not a festival guy myself. I'll be honest. I haven't been to a festival probably in like 20 years.
Right.
Facts. Like I've been to concerts here and there, but a big full-blown festival, I have not been at. And, whatever these modern festivals are, I don't know how similar they are to the ones that are happening in the 90s and 2000s. But as someone that does go to these festivals, you cover a lot of these, you attend them, you're in the mix, you're in the crowd, you're backstage and so forth. Number one, do you feel that Travis Scott, what is his level of responsibility in terms of the 9 people that are dead right now?
Well, first off, I want to say that I wholeheartedly agree with you about not enjoying going to festivals, because at this point in my life, I just find it to be the most overwhelming. Like as a fan, like I remember I was at Coachella with my girl and a couple other girls. We went to see Lil Uzi. I like almost literally could not see him from where we were standing all the way in the back of the crowd. Like it's just a miserable viewing experience from my perspective. Now, a lot of kids love them and stuff. And obviously when I go to festivals, usually I'm seeing it more from like a backstage perspective, and we can get content done and everything like that is cool. But I will say though, that I think people have been like a little too eager to heap the blame on Travis Scott, when in reality, I think the blame is like more accurately distributed amongst a lot of people, hundreds and maybe thousands of different employees and people who were there. It just seems like there was like an overall failure. It's kind of easy to just put that on Travis Scott. But from my perspective, every time I ever seen, I've been on stage with Thug and Future and all these really big artists and stuff, just sort of seeing what it's like for them to go out, get on stage, perform. And what I think people don't understand is that like rappers are just in their own world during that time. It's like understood that there could be fights backstage, there could be this going on, there could be that. It's none of it's the artist's business when they're performing. The artist just can't be concerned with that. When you're looking out at 50,000 people, like a single fight is not going to be something that even registers in your mind. Whereas, but there is like a lot of room, I think, too, to kind of say like, well, why didn't he have concern about all these ambulances that were out there, or all these like people that seem to be being carried away and stuff. But I also just think it's hard for people to put themselves in the perspective of, performing for that many people, and how, if I'm Travis Scott in that situation, I'm just assuming that the venue is taking care of any dire circumstances and that I'm going to be notified of it. You have to depend on your team to a certain extent. And if he really wasn't informed by the people out there, that's certainly like a failure on them. And you have to put some of it on him that he kind of put together a team that might not have been ready for this. But I really feel bad for the guy, because this is going to be a massive stain on his career. And I just think, I think for a lot of people, it's hard to put themselves in his shoes, even though obviously I also want to say rest in peace to the 9 people who died. That's terrible.
Yeah, 9 people who are dead, plus hundreds of others that are injured. There's like kids who have their organs stomped on, and, who might not make it, or who might make it and be crippled afterwards. It's a messy, ugly, sad situation. It actually reminded me of what happened at a Puffy celebrity basketball game back in the 90s. If you look at my interview with Gene Deal, he was actually doing security where 9 people got crushed and killed at the celebrity basketball game. Yeah, because people were rushing in, and I guess they had chained the doors to prevent people from sneaking in. Yeah. And then as they rushed that door, like Mike Tyson was showing up and LL Cool J, and everyone was kind of losing their mind, and then people got crushed. Right. 9 people died. Oh my God. And Puffy ultimately did recover from that. Of course, he was not the biggest name back then. This was, Puffy before billionaire Puffy, obviously. I think Bad Boy was just starting out and everything else like that. Right. But it's crazy how you look at a Travis Scott who goes from being one of the most loved, sought after artists in the world. Like who doesn't want a Travis Scott verse on their album? Kanye had a Travis. Kanye did not. Yeah. Kanye had. On his new album, he doesn't have a Travis Scott verse, but on his previous albums, he has. Drake has a Travis Scott verse. On his new album. Like everyone wants to work with Travis Scott.
Kanye had like a failed Travis Scott single in the lead up to the album.
Oh, is that what happened?
A lot of people might have forgot about it. Yeah, I guess it didn't make it to the album.
All right, there you go. So I'm saying every major artist wants to work with him. Right. And then this happens, and now you can't even play his music at a venue without getting booed.
Did
and
you
the
see?
DJ
You saw
having
that
to-
clip of all
Yeah.
the people booing him and stuff. I wonder how consistent that is, though, because that seemed like kind of like a older, more tame audience. I feel like if you play that, you know, at a SoundCloud rap type show, a DJ said that nobody's going to give a shit